In the last lesson video, we found a way to make the slope formula work for us when we were just given 2 points. Now in this video, we're going to clean it up a little bit and discover the official slope formula. So this is what we found in the last video. We found that in order to find the slope, when we were just given the 2 points on the line, we had to subtract the y values for the rise, and then we had to subtract the x values for the run. Now let's pretend like the 2 points that we were given look like this. This represents point 1. Notice there's little subset 1s on my point x and y. And then this represents the second point because there's little 2s right here. So if it says to subtract the y values, that means if those were my 2 points, I would subtract y2 and y1. And then if I subtract the x values, that means I'm going to subtract x2 minus x1. And when I subtract, that will tell me the length of the rise and the run. So this now is the official slope formula when we are given 2 points on the line. The slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is what it is when these are the 2 points that you are given. So let me show you an example of how this works. So the question says, find the slope of the line that contains the points 2, 6, and 9, 14. So we're not given the graph, we don't know what the graph looks like, and we're not even going to draw the graph because we can just use this formula to figure out the slope. So first things first, these are our 2 points. So let's label these 2 points with these variables. So 2, 6, we're going to label as x1 and y1. So 2 is x1, 6 is y1, because that's the first point. And then the second point is x2 and y2. And I could have switched them. I could have made this the second point and this the first one. It doesn't matter, just as long as I keep the 1s together and the 2s together. Now we simply substitute in these values where they show up in the slope formula. So the top of the fraction is y2 minus y1. So we are saying that y2 is 14 and y1 is 6. So those are the y values that we are subtracting. And then the x values, we do x2 minus x1. So here's x2, we're saying is 9, and we are subtracting x1. So x1 is 2. Okay, so now that we have the numbers all figured out and in their right places, we can subtract. 14 minus 6 is 8. 9 minus 2 is 7. So the slope of the line between these 2 points is 8 over 7. Let's look at another example. Find the slope of the line that contains the points 0, 5 and negative 2, 10. Now we need to label the points x1, y1, and x2, y2. And then we're going to plug the numbers into our slope formula. So we do y2 minus y1. So y2 is 10 minus y1 is 5. Then we do x2 minus x1. x2 is negative 2 minus x1 is 0. Now let's do the subtraction now that we have all our numbers plugged in the right place. 10 minus 5 is 5. Negative 2 minus 0 is negative 2. So the slope of the line between these 2 points is negative 5 halves. Let's do one last example with some weird negative signs thrown in there. Same steps, label our points x1 and y1, and x2 and y2, and plug them into the formula. I'm going to use the m for the slope this time. Okay, y2 minus y1. So y2 is 12 minus y1 is 0. Not so bad. And then the bottom is x2 minus x1. x2 is a negative 2 minus x1, which is negative 4. Now this looks weird because we have a minus and a negative sign right next to each other, but this is correct because there is a minus sign in my slope formula. So I'm taking negative 2 and I'm subtracting negative 4. Okay, so I do 12 minus 0, that's 12. Negative 2 minus a negative 4, that's the same thing as adding a positive 4. So negative 2 plus 4 is 2, and 12 over 2 simplifies to be 6. So the slope of the line that contains these 2 points is 6. If you need a bit more practice with this, just let me know and I can give you some websites that will give you some more practice.